Hey everyone, this is one of my least favorite topics about spirituality, false teachers. So, it's been clear for a long time that Mooji was not and is not a guru. How is that obvious? Well, first of all, he teaches non-duality in a way that completely contradicts the way it was taught by Ramana Maharshi, and also the way it was his guru's guru, and also completely in contradiction to Adi Shankara, the founder of the school of non-duality. Mooji preaches self-inquiry to the masses, whereas Ramana Maharshi and Shankara made it very clear that self-inquiry is only for people, a very small amount of people in a very specific stage of evolution that even requires very strenuous preparatory practices. Ramana Maharshi said, unless you have attained one-pointedness of mind, self-inquiry will be like trying to extinguish the ego with self-inquiry will be like trying to put out a fire with a wet noodle. And yet Mooji doesn't teach people one-pointedness of mind. He just teaches everyone self-inquiry. And then people don't make progress. But Mooji has this very powerful capacity to radiate Shaktipat, spiritual energy. So people get high around him, then they don't really make any progress because they're not being taught properly. And then they get addicted to being around Mooji, to watching Mooji videos. So that was one of the ways that many of us knew for a very long time that Mooji wasn't an actual guru. Now, a guru is a being to whom you can entrust your soul, a completely liberated being. Mooji's just a spiritual teacher. Make no mistake about it. And it slowly got worse as he allowed the title Satguru to be used for him. Satguru is like the highest of high gurus. A Satguru, is someone who can look at someone and know their past, present, and future, including past lives, that can know everything about them. That's not Mooji. And the fact that he allowed himself, either gave himself the title or allowed his devotees to call him that, another very clear red flag. This dude is no guru. As if that wasn't enough, Mooji allows and possibly even encourages, I don't know, people to literally worship him. Literally to worship him, to sing songs to him, to say things like, "You are my Lord," to say things like, "Oh, kissing your feet, I'm kissing the feet of God." He never discourages this, and I have no evidence that he encourages it, though I would be willing to bet that he does. The thing is, a true guru will allow that, but will discourage it, will absolutely discourage it and downplay it. Anyone who is fully liberated will allow it, but will simultaneously discourage it, constantly pointing that the guru is you, the guru is inside of you. As if this wasn't enough, the fancy robes, the fancy name, the founding of an intentional community. Now, on the surface, that sounds great, but it's very problematic. The question is, why found an intentional community? A guru leads people to liberation. A guru doesn't start an intentional community where people can live with them for a long time. Sorry, my battery's running low. Need to plug it in. It just doesn't make any sense. Someone who has the capacity to lead people to enlightenment doesn't need them to come live with him. Certainly, maybe stay for periods of time. The only reason to found an intentional community is to serve the teacher. On the surface, it looks like this great humanitarian thing, but that's not how enlightenment works. If if what Mooji was doing was leading people to liberation, then people would go there and stay there for a while, and then they'd be liberated, and then they would go. But that's not what's happening. And as if all of this isn't enough, now there's very strenuous, there's a reporter out there who basically goes and really investigates different teachers and organizations, and has actually literally 2 organizations that were operating with cult-like and also sexual abuse behavior have been busted up because of this person's work. And I have a little bit of a direct connection to the author, and I'm going to put the link to this article at the bottom of this video. For the expose of the Source Tantra sex scandal, this author interviewed a friend of mine who was involved in that. So I know for a fact that this person doesn't just make things up, that they actually go out and investigate. And the allegations in this, obviously I have no firsthand knowledge, so I can't speak to them. But given all the very flagrant signs before this article came out of Mooji's delusion about himself, he's literally fostering what's called a personality cult, a worshiping of a person and then creating dependence on that person. I would tend to believe it. And there is at least one thing in that article I can say for sure is factually true, and that is Mooji is not a guru. From the Hindu perspective, to become a guru, you have to have an awakened being literally confer that onto you, and no one did. Mooji's teacher, Papaji, did not confer that onto Mooji, and to boot, Papaji was never given the title or role of guru by his teacher, Ramana Maharshi. So what you have is a self-appointed guru, which is not a guru. That's someone who still has plenty of ego to work through. So I hate to be the bearer of bad news, because let's face it, Mooji's very charming. He's very loving. He gives off a lot of positive energy. And he's just one more fake guru and a very poor Advaita Vedanta teacher. What he teaches, Shankara, again the founder of the school, would be rolling in his grave, as would Ramana Maharshi. Completely if Mooji was just doing that and not fostering worship of himself, not calling himself a guru, allowing himself to be called a guru, founding some intentional community, and then doing all, again, I can't verify the allegations in this article, though I don't doubt any of them. If he was just like teaching bad Vedanta, then he would just be one more, bad non-duality teacher who's just, probably doing the best he can, but he's taken it above and beyond. And the damage this is going to cause to both the spiritual world and the non-dual world is, it's sad. So for anyone out there who's thinking about spending time with Mooji, I very strongly invite you to do your research first. And anyone who is very close in his organization, there are reports that people feel trapped, like they can't leave, and also are afraid to speak out. And that's how a cult operates. It fosters dependency and it keeps secrets. I would invite you to seek support outside of the organization. As someone who has made it out of 2 cults, I know how cults operate, and I know it seems like the end of the world. And I promise you, there is another life possible for you. Take care. So much love, everyone. The sad thing is, we have to be discerning with spiritual teachers, especially in the West, especially the moment money, power, prestige, or sex comes into the picture. And by prestige, I mean a cult of worshiping the teacher. Red flag. Danger, danger, danger. False teacher. Take care, everyone.